Okay, today I'm going to talk about this really old light fixture that one of the ballasts went out, and I thought it was a lamp at first. Changed the lamps. That's what you always do first. And if it still doesn't light, you know it's either a wiring problem, a tombstone problem, or a ballast problem. Well, today is a ballast problem. And these things are really old, so what you do is you just pull forward and pull straight out. Pull a little bit forward and then out. Then right here you got two wing nuts, and just FYI, I pulled it out of the ceiling so I can actually look down on it and show you guys the way it really is, and to make it a lot easier to work on. Lot easier, especially the little upgrade I'm going to do. So they're wing nuts, they're real easy to take off. Not a lot of room for taping, so excuse the hand anyway. Okay, here we go, and that just pulls straight out. Okay, then you have the can, and see right here, that's where a screw was actually in the frame that was holding it up in the ceiling. Now these newer ones usually have more, but this one only had one. Oh, there's another hole right there. Yeah. Okay, looks like it did have more. I didn't see that. Okay, so next thing, you don't have to do this, but it's going to be easier when we go to put the ballast in, because this will be in the way. So what we'll do is just remove those 1/4-inch nuts. It's the red, either red tip or Klein, and red handle for a lot of the other ones. It's a little challenging doing it while trying to hold the camera. Pull that out of the way. Okay. Then what we're going to do is going to flip it over. And you notice that the holes, there's already holes. Well, there was bolts here with nuts on the other side, and that was holding a ballast. But to save time, I went ahead and bypassed that. And this is going to be a 3/8, which is a green. And you're going to hear it drop when I do this. Basically, because I can't catch it and do this at the same time. Okay, that one's out of there. You're going to go to the other one. I'm going to have to change hands here. Some of these old things are really stubborn. There we go. Okay. And also the end was in a grommet, and it kind of like you had to unscrew it and pull it out. And usually in that junction box is a ballast, but on these older ones it's not. It's just a hot and neutral lead, and the ground attached to the case. You just take those apart, unscrew that, take the retaining bolt, and the whole thing drops out. And if you are doing it from the ceiling, you want to make sure that you catch this thing, because it's going to drop, and that's not going to be a pretty sight. Okay, and this is going to stay back. Ballasts are going to come out. Now these are oil-filled ballasts, so these things are very, very heavy. And as you notice, it's a Robertson transformer, type 1. So that's like really, really ancient. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just remove this, and I'm going to take this plate, and I'm going to use spacers, because on the other side, now remember, that needs to go down because that's the wing nuts that holds the can. Now you notice these, see that little lip? See the lip? Okay, well it's not flat. And these modern day ballasts, you can't really, and actually I just realized I'm going to have to change the ballast, but I'm just showing you. See, it won't. So you need the spacers to lift it. And they're all pretty much going to be the same. You just have to look at the identification. Well, anyways, it'll tell you. This one says 226 for the triple, 226 for the quads, 126 triple, and 126 quad. So the 13, these are 13 watt lamps. So we got to look for different ballasts. Just a good thing to point out. Okay, so stand fast. I stand corrected. The ballast could be used for 213s as long as it doesn't exceed it, and it fits right within the range of 126. So what we're looking at here is we see a power coming in, right? And those lines, one goes to one ballast, the other goes to the other ballast. Then you notice the other one goes to the return of the lamps. See that? Right. Then one of the ballasts, exiting the ballast, goes to the lamp, exiting the other ballast goes to there, and that's the return, and that's the neutral. So just pointing out the wiring for those who are kind of wondering how they did that. That's exactly how they did it. And you notice how it says 277. This is an IntelliVolt, and it's a 120 to 277. When you flip it over, see there's only 3 connections: hot, neutral, and ground. Now, I'll talk about the other ones later. Right now, what I'd like to point out is it doesn't matter because it's an IntelliVolt. See, 120 volt to 277. That means you can stick any voltage in there up to 277, 208, 277, 240, 120, and it's going to recognize it and it's going to automatically change for it. Pretty neat. So before you had to wire it different, but you don't have to anymore. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut this because we're going to need to reconnect it. And so I'm just going to connect that. And now I'm able to pull this whole assembly out. Okay, and I'm going to go look and see if I have any more of these, and if I do, I'll go ahead and reconnect them, and I'm going to show you how to adapt all this. So now I can move this out of the way, and I'm free to mount my ballast to my plate. And you see, that's why we removed this thing, because that would have been hard. See that? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick this inside the vise. And the reason I'm going to stick it inside the vise is because when I go to drill these holes to hold that down, I don't want it moving, and sheet metal, especially rigid like this, can really cut your hand if it turns, especially when you use the stronger drills. Alright. Okay, so this thing does not need to be perfect, but I'm going to try to get it best I can, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line that up. See, looking at the other side, and I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, that's right about where I need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and got a magnetic bit on there. I'm just gonna go ahead and okay, I don't know why that got so blurry, but it did. What I used was a starting bit. I almost forgot to mention that. Well, see that? Okay, and it's just like a drill bit. So if you got a magnetic bit and you got it on your drill bit or on your drill, you put that in there. It's just like using a drill bit, and it'll cut right through it. So let me do the other one, and I'll come right back. Go. Okay, there we go. See, now I got that on there, and I got the drill, and there we go. See? Okay, it's not going to fall. Now it had openings on the bottom. It also has it on the side. See? And now we're going to start looking at how to connect all this. Okay, I got some new tombstones, and it's just they're not that expensive. That's just a better bet. Most people don't like doing it because they don't like to spend money, do it quicker, but I say you do it right the first time. You shouldn't have to mess with this thing ever again until the lamp goes out. So you want to, and again, it's kind of hard, only one hand and not really being able to do that. So you want to push down on this, and the thing will just pull right out because it's not screwed in. So it's just saddled, just like that. So you just go ahead and push down on that, and it'll pop right out. And we're going to go ahead and leave those connected so we know how to connect the rest. Alright, so we're back and putting this on. Now, you see that right there? It's real hard with this camera. There you go. So what you want to do is you want to stick that in first, okay, because that'll break. You don't want that to break. Just like that. See how that, like that? And then you just push down. There you go. Hear it click. Click. Alright, so now we got this, and we're going to go ahead and wire it up. The other thing I forgot to point out is, see these two holes in that weir right there? That's where the tombstones go. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that these are right here, so you don't have to run long connections, and you can just run a small wire to right there, and then right here your power is going to go right in there. So those cords, those power cords that we cut from in here, we're going to go ahead and strip those about a ½ inch back, and then just going to push them in, and they're going to snap in. And I'm also going to do a little bit extra because I like to be safe. I like everything to be right. So I'm going to take the ground from the inside of the thing, and I'm going to run it back, and I'm going to just connect it in there. Alright, so I'll be right back. Alright, there we go. And you notice this thing right here? That's our self-starter screw. Okay? And that's okay. And there you go. So you see? Just like that. So this thing again is for the can, and this right here is for the back inside of there.